Welcome back to the Law and Crime Network, everybody. This is Jesse Weber. We were showing you some testimony in the Xavier Dobson case, which we will cover all day today. But right now, we have a very, very special segment. We looked all over, all across the United States, for the craziest laws that are still technically on the books. We scoured everywhere to try and come up with a good selection of laws that you might not believe are still the law in the land. Now, whether or not they're actually enforced and how much they're looked at is a separate question, but technically, they're still on the books. So what we have for you right now is the top 10 craziest laws in the United States by Law and Crime. And who better to talk with me about these subjects than our very own Elura Nanos and Caroline Polisi.
Thanks for having us.
This is going to be great.
Hey, I love it.
Okay, are you ready to start?
I'm ready.
Are you ready to start?
I've been ready.
Okay. Number 10, New Jersey. It is illegal to wear a bulletproof vest while committing a murder. Now, here's my question to you. Here's what it says. It's actually illegal to do this. It says it's a person's guilty of a crime if he uses or wears a body vest while engaged in the commission of a crime or attempt to commit a murder, and this is otherwise it might be a second-degree murder or second-degree charge. If you're committing a murder and you're really going to think twice about wearing that vest, you're like, wait one second. I'm going to commit this murder.
If you're wearing a bulletproof vest, that implies premeditation.
It says if you commit it with it, it's going to be a first degree. If you can wear a second degree, it's going to be a second degree charge by wearing the vest. Otherwise, it's a crime of third degree. Basically, it increases or decreases the degree of the crime.
I think that's actually pretty bad for prosecutors, though, because the wearing of a bulletproof vest does indicate, as you said, a level of premeditation. So the wearing of a bulletproof vest would theoretically make the crime easier to prosecute.
Yes.
So, but this is one of those things. You know, this law came about by somebody being like, he's committing a murder. Screw him. If he dies, he dies.
Well, because they're probably like
it's premeditation per se, right? So it's like a strict liability premeditation, because the fact is, if you strap on a bulletproof vest, you obviously are aware that you're going to get into some sort of gunfire. So you have to think about the fact that you're going to do it. So I think it's good for prosecutors.
See,
you think it's bad?
Isn't it kind of like the idea, like, look, if you're going to commit this crime, make sure the police can kill you. That's basically what it is.
But I think that's the logic behind it.
The police,
the reason I'm saying that it's bad for prosecutors is because theoretically, if people know about the law and then don't wear the bulletproof vest because of it, do you know? That's what I'm saying.
I'm presuming nobody would know about this law,
and that's probably true. But it reminds me of, remember in law school you learned about the red line view? You ever hear that?
No.
Where it's like the felony murder rule, but it doesn't count if one of your co-felons is the one that dies, because like we don't really care about justice for the co-felons.
Oh, no,
it's like that same. No, well, some places have it and some places don't have it.
Who's going to stop before they get? I'm going to commit this murder, but you know what? I should be well protected.
Yes, exactly.
Well, somebody who is really committed to to the murder and thinks that they're not going to get caught.
Rampage, right? You're going out with a gun. You have a vest. You're not an everyday attacker.
This sounds like This sounds like one of those laws that the people behind the law were like very familiar with violence and like not really familiar whatsoever with prosecutions.
Right.
Like how the law works. Like I get the logic, like I get the sentiment behind it. Like,
but here's a question: can you buy a bulletproof vest just like on the open market? Can you just?
Does it look like I know this?
No, I'm
what do you think I wear underneath here? I don't. We have a lot of guests on here. I don't know.
You never know. I mean,
I say some controversial things.
So that's the question. That's another.
I think you can. I think you can get bulletproof.
So you can just walk around wearing one. What would that? I mean,
I have a chopping glove filled lined with Kevlar. It's
right. Oh wow.
Yes, I can chop it.
Really?
I do, because it's so that you can chop vegetables and not get hurt. So I assume that. I know, right?
Okay,
I don't mess around.
We need to see that one in the law books next. All right. Okay, so that's a good one. Now let's move on to a different state. We have Indiana.
Oh boy.
And believe it or not, in Indiana, it is illegal to sniff glue. To sniff glue. Now I've heard of people abusing drugs, abusing alcohol. Sniffing glue really is an epidemic, am I right?
Well, you're younger than I am, so you may not remember. When I was in elementary school, sniffing glue was like a hot topic. Yeah. They would literally pass out the glue and be like, don't sniff it.
Right.
That was like the 80s. Issue. That was the 80s. They would hand it out and then tell you not to sniff it, and we would all be like.
but who would think to do that?
That's a thing.
It's a thing, and it does. From what I understand, it actually is pretty dangerous especially for children that do it. So it's probably one of those things like, hey, don't do this because
no, I think it's an
it
epidemic
raises
with
awareness.
like teenagers,
Yes,
where
yeah.
people are doing it at parties,
like huffing.
Huffing.
Exactly.
Oh yes, huffing.
Yeah.
Tell us more
Caroline
about
with
tell us
the
more-
lingo.
more about your experience at these huffing parties.
No, I just know that that's a term, but I don't think it's for glue, is it?
I think it's
No, I think
it's an
actually,
inhalant.
I think
Okay,
it's like it's
inhale
like
anything.
glue, and then like what is it called? Like the aerosol cans,
yeah.
like all those people that sniff all kinds of crap. Like,
Why are people so bored?
I
What's
know,
going
I know,
on?
I know.
What's happening?
Well,
it's in Indiana, isn't it?
It's in Indiana.
I mean, I've been through Indiana. They have cows and waffle houses.
so there's not a lot going on.
I'm surprised
I mean-
it's not there. I would think that would be illegal in any state. I would think that if you are sniffing something for the purpose of what?
Of, like, getting high.
Well, it's person intent to cause a condition of intoxication.
How the hell are they going to enforce it though? Because if the
Right.
substance itself isn't illegal,
right. Yeah,
then
that's-
like it doesn't make if you're what do they do? Put that whiteout down?
Right, right,
Come
right.
on, like it's not.
And it's easier to get. You just
Correct.
go
It's
into.
not like Elmer's glue, is it?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not a sniffing glue
Yes,
expert.
okay.
Right, guys?
Are you sure?
It's. I know it can cause intoxication, euphoria, excitement, exhilaration.
how much euphoria
stupefaction,
is it
dulling
really?
of the senses. I just thought you use it to put two things together.
That shouldn't be on the market then. If that's. But
People need to use glue. It shouldn't be on the market.
Or do they lock it up? Maybe like when you go to a
Yes.
store.
Oh,
and they have
stop!
their-
It'll be
Manager.
like when you have to go get cold
Yeah.
medicine and you
Yes.
need to
There
give
you
them
go.
a blood test
Setting,
before
I
you can do
know.
it. Listen, if I need to get glue, I need to get glue. If I'm
I
doing
always feel
crafts, I don't
guilty.
need to show my ID.
Bottom line: use glue responsibly.
Yes.
Ever.
This is one of those things, honestly, that I feel like if they didn't bring it up, no one would even know about it.
But
like,
now we do.
But now everybody
Now
knows about. Great.
Yeah.
So we're like contributing to the glue sniffing epidemic. Great.
All right. Well, we have a good one now with number 8. This is from Wisconsin, and believe it or not, butter substitutes are banned. Let me be a little bit more specific. The serving of colored oleomargarine or margarine at a public eating place as a substitute for table butter is prohibited unless it's ordered by the customer. Now, we've seen a ban on this in terms of restaurants, schools, state prisons. It's a way that I've seen to enhance the Wisconsin butter economy. What do you think?
I am sure that that's true, and at the same time, I could not be more in favor of this law.
Me too. I'm 100%.
The last thing I want is to go to a restaurant. They put the thing. I think it's
agree.
butter and it's margarine.
It should be illegal.
It should be illegal everywhere.
It should be illegal everywhere.
Everywhere.
I'm right on.
Do you ever try to bake with margarine?
No, I
No,
haven't.
it's a disaster. People think it's the same because it's yellow. You put it in, and the cookies are
I
like
think
flat.
butter's making a real comeback these days. Butter used to be on the bad
Like
list,
sugar, like
and
real
now
sugar.
It's like making a comeback. Butter's good for you. Margarine's horrible for you. So I think it's a good law.
Well, then you would agree with Brad Legreed, who's the executive director of the Wisconsin Dairy Products Association. He said, why would you want to support a product that's a poor substitute for the real thing?
Exactly.
Yes,
You know,
indeed.
our license plate says Wisconsin is America's dairyland, which, by the way, I didn't know. But that's the
Who knew?
bottom line, and we should only pass legislation that would support it and not tarnish it.
I
What
think
you're
that's true.
saying is it's an opt-in issue in terms of if you actually.
It's not like you can't eat it.
Right,
You can ask
want
for it.
margarine,
But don't
you
give
can
it to
ask for
people immediately. That allow them the choice.
You don't want unwitting butter consumption.
I know.
I'm unwitting margarine
Margarine,
consumption.
Well,
I mean,
what do you say to the argument? This is somebody who works in the restaurant industry who says it's kind of silly. A law like that needs to go away. I mean, come on, let owners of businesses do what they want.
Here's the
hear
thing.
you.
I agree for the most part with letting businesses do what they want, but I'll say this. In the context of butter, I think that butter is so prevalent in our society that, when someone a waiter puts rolls and butter on your table, most people assume that it's butter, that it's real butter.
Agreed.
So I think that given that assumption, just like somebody puts a clear substance down, you assume it's a glass of water and not like a glass of vodka. So I think it's more about you don't want to sort of trick people into having something that they might not otherwise want to consume.
You make a good point. Let me ask you something. Would you know the difference between butter and butter substitute?
Oh yes.
I would 100%.
What do I have here? Where did this come from?
Oh
What?
my gosh!
I didn't know there would be
I buttered
snacks.
these myself.
You did?
You tell me which one's butter and which one's
Okay.
the butter
All
substitute.
right, does she get both of these? and
No.
I get
Oh,
both of
they're
these?
just
Who knows? Who knows? Okay.
these are the same and these are the same. You
Oh,
tell
okay,
me which
so-
one.
I think I can
It's all good.
already tell.
I buttered it myself.
Hold on,
I'm
wait,
smelling.
But
Yeah.
reserve your answer.
Just
Reserve-
kidding. It's glue. All right.
Reserve
All right,
your
wait.
answer.
Hold on. Yeah, I will not.
Okay. Okay.
Good. What?
Okay. It's a very good cracker.
I'll tell you what, the crackers smell delicious.
Okay. Okay.
Hold on.
Okay. Yeah.
You take this
And then you have to take that one.
Oh,
Oh, this is easy.
Is it easy? Which one do you think? Because I know which bag is which. Which one do you think is the butter?
Well, the first one I ate was butter.
Hold on.
You think
Hold
the
on.
first one you
This
ate
is
is
butter
butter?
substitute.
Yeah,
Okay.
the first one that she ate, which is the second one I ate.
Okay.
That's
Are we
real
right?
butter.
Just kidding. They're both. I can't believe it's not butter. But I thought it would be funny to do nonetheless. Yeah.
both?
Yeah. I wanted to give you a snack, and no, come on. I
I'll
have a
tell you
limited
what.
budget here. You think I could just get
Wait,
butter
so
and butter?
but
And I can't believe it's not butter.
I can't believe it's not butter just in your pantry.
Yeah. Who doesn't have that?
You
anyway.
have that?
Yeah.
I propose. I think the superior lipid, you guys, is
The
olive oil.
superior lipid.
It is very good.
So
agree
I
with
just
it.
think that we should do away with butter, margarine, etc., and just in favor of olive oil.
I'm all for
See,
clotted.
I agree with you.
What do you think?
And plus, I gave you.
And clotted. As long as we have clotted cream, I'm okay.
No.
I love what you got to put it on your
superior
scones.
lipid, olive oil.
All right, where are we
Delicious
putting it?
cracker,
All right,
nonetheless,
that
right?
is a
What
great
that cracker, though?
Well, I'll tell you off the
Okay,
air.
it's okay.
Very good cracker.
Okay.
All right.
Let's get
Let's
off
let's get off. Let's get off
All
of
right.
food for a
All
little
right,
bit.
yeah.
All right. Let's move to Tennessee.
All right.
All right,
No, let's
Tennessee.
not, but let's talk about it anyway.
If you engage in a duel, you can't hold public office. Believe it or not, that is in the Tennessee Constitution.
All duels?
Any
Like
person.
lightsaber duels and like.
See, okay, I
So,
think this
like, we're
probably
just-
was enacted back in the day. We show a video, we show a graphic right there. Probably that was what it was like. Any
That was like
person.
Aaron Burr,
Some
and
Aaron
Andrew
Burr,
Jackson.
some yeah.
Maybe
that's-
those are the real guys right over there.
I don't think those.
That was in New Jersey, though.
The actual language
Yeah, that's
is
true.
any person who shall, after the adoption of this Constitution, fight a duel or knowingly be the bearer of a challenge to fight a duel or send or accept a challenge for that purpose or be aiding and abetting shall be deprived of the right to hold any office of honor or profit in the state.
I love it.
Honor or profit?
Yeah.
I love
That's
it though.
pretty all-encompassing.
I feel like they're like, listen, if this is the way you think we solve problems, then you're too stupid to hold public office.
Are you happy it's still in the Constitution?
It's not in the Constitution. Oh,
It's in the state
state
constitution.
No, I don't think it should still be in the state constitution. Well, I don't
Why?
know.
You want people out there like on guard? Like what?
No.
What do you think constitutes a duel? Now that I'm curious.
I mean, so.
What kind
the
of
way
arguments do you get into?
Well, the way I understand it, a duel is with some sort of weapon, like
Yeah.
not necessarily not a gun or anything, like a
No, a gun.
sword.
Aaron Burr, a gun.
No, yes, that was a gun, but a sword. I'm thinking of a sword. Is it? Is
I mean, it can be a sword.
Honestly,
It can be a fencing foil.
That
It can
sounds
be.
amazing.
Yes, that's more
Okay.
What?
what I-
I mean, I would love it if
What if you're
on
in
the
a
house.
fencing? What if you're in a fencing duel? What if you're in a legitimate fencing?
I mean,
duel?
there's a part of me that sort of feels like I'd love the state house to just break out and everybody get those masks on and get the hand behind the back and they start like
Right.
doing things Princess Bride style. Like I would love that.
I think we'd get a lot more done.
Your
I
honor.
really.
You think we?
See, here's my thing. I would love if for like a candidate is like running for office, and you know how there's always secret tapes and something comes out of news report. He was in a duel.
Yes.
Like I would
Yeah.
love for that to come out.
Right, like forget Me Too, but we're gonna get like secret tapes
yeah,
of
of like a
dueling.
duel, like in grainy
Rode
footage.
on a horse to to vote. So it's kind of like I could see.
All right,
him
maybe I'll
getting
change
into a
my
duel.
maybe I'll change my position on this. Maybe we should make everyone fight duels, and then you vote based on who did the best job.
I don't know.
There's something to that, okay? We're going to record this. We're going to replay it. Please listen to what Elura just said, because I think that's a great idea. I'm telling you, I want that secret tape to come out of about someone in a duel and they're not being able to run for office.
Oh, that would be great.
Yes.
I could think of a few politicians. Like I'd like to see like Chris Christie footage of him in a duel.
But like it has to be super grainy, like from 1996, like something that
From
you didn't expect.
1996 when Jesse was two.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause I want to know what was happening.
And we were stiff.
Slipping glue. All right, let's move on to Oregon. This is number 6. Believe it or not, hunting in cemeteries is illegal. Now, here's my question to both of you. What are people hunting in cemeteries?
Well, that should be illegal. That's just.
I think that
creepy.
should be illegal.
That is
Yeah, I think that
creepy.
that's.
Why
Well,
would people be doing that?
I mean, cemeteries are
Zombie
like, what did it-
apocalypse, perhaps?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, I didn't think of the zombies. That is a good point with the zombies.
This is actually this is actual statute.
Well, no, I understand that.
It's a
'cause there's
misdemeanor to
probably-
hunt.
There's probably wildlife like running through cemeteries, and
you could get a
you'll get some
scout.
idiot hunters out there that are like, "Who cares about the get that duck? Who cares about Grandpa's grave?" Like that's
Yeah.
It's disrespectful.
it is it's
Preserving the
disres-
grounds.
Disrespectful to the
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I'm not really a fan of hunting to begin with, but like definitely like let's stay out of the cemeteries. I mean, if we could stay out of other places too, that would be
Right.
good.
Okay.
You know, and-
Clearly, both of you have no experience with ghosts
No.
or vampires or werewolves or
Well,
anything
that's-
else.
well,
So,
that's true.
have you not seen Thriller? I mean, do you not know what goes on there?
I know.
All right.
Do they kill them with guns though? Is
I
it
hope
really
you promote
hunting?
this law when that
Wait,
happens.
But I would like to say, here's the real legal question though. If you're talking about the zombie apocalypse, is it really hunting or is it just self-defense?
That's what I think.
Hmm.
Because even in an area where
Bigfoot.
hunting is, for example, is illegal, I'm sure you could defend yourself from like, a bison that comes after you. So
What bison are in Oregon hanging out in cemeteries?
I'm just saying, like, so I mean, if I assume that if a zombie comes after you, you probably could defend yourself assuming that it was lethal force on lethal
Right,
force, you
right.
know? So hunting is when you are like, I'm going to go and I'm going to raise those zombies and then I'm going to kill them.
Law and Crime 2057.
Right.
I can't wait to see what
I
happens.
know. Oh my gosh, you could like get a niche on this practice, you know, like self-defense. Like,
Self-defense,
like,
zombie apocalypse, yeah.
that'd be good.
Yeah. Are you feeling this?
yeah.
You guys should partner up on this.
All right, I mean,
Yeah.
I could always use a new line of work.
So no hunting in cemeteries from either
I'm
of you.
good. I'm good with the hunting
Okay.
in cemeteries.
Let's move on now to South Carolina. And believe it or not, this is actually in the statute as well. Minors are not allowed to play pinball. Believe it or not, it's on the books. Why is that the case? Why do you think that minors are not allowed to play pinball? Seems a little strange, no?
And where we're talking about
South
South
Carolina.
Carolina, right? So you know this had to do with some kind of like religious revival, and their souls were going to burn in hell because
Right.
dice
The devil-
and
the devil's
the
in
devil
the
and
pinball machine.
the
The
pinball
devil's
and the
there.
craps tables and the whole thing, right?
It's gambling, believe it or not.
Dancing. It's like dancing
In
in
Footloose.
It's like
Yes.
exactly like that.
We need
right?
this is when we need Kevin Bacon more
This
than
is
ever.
what-
More than
we
ever.
do
Right
need him.
now, guys.
I mean, pinball. Although I have to say, like, did people gamble on pinball? I guess people gamble on anything, but
But I think
Pin-
the
of
idea
all of
that it
those
was
kinds of-
so much fun. Anything that's so much fun
has to be
to
like
be just-
the work of Satan.
Yes.
Well, you know what it was?
I mean, okay.
American cities banned pinball machines from the 40s to the 70s because they've had it because of the
believe it
gambling
went on
nature of
that.
it. Think about it. You put the ball in, right? You don't know if you're going to win or not. It's
Right.
and they said
Anything
it
could
had an
happen.
effect.
It's a game of skill, is it not?
Well, it's a
not?
little
Oh,
bit of a
it
game
might
of
be.
chance.
Is it not?
Because that, right? The
I mean,
pinball,
so says
Do you
Elton
have the
John.
Do you have the high score? If I go to the local arcade, you have the high
I
score?
don't,
I mean,
but
it's not
Pac-Man.
Ms. Pac-Man.
Pac-Man, I have it, but isn't that right? It is a skill.
I mean, there is
It's
some
not-
skill involved, but there's
You
some
gotta-
skill involved
it's
with
not
poker
easy.
too, and that's gambling, you know. So
Well, yeah, it said it had. They banned it at the time because it had an effect on crime, juvenile
It had an effect on
delinquency,
crime.
morality.
Really? It had an
Maybe
effect on
people were
crime.
hanging out, congregating
I
at
would
pinball
like
halls.
to see like that legislative report. Like, like let me just read this to you. Crime has gone up 50% since we had these three pinball machines here at the
Right.
local 5 and Dime.
Right.
Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
That's
Okay.
ridiculous.
Well, you know what? We'll come back. We covered the
Come back
first
to South
5.
Carolina.
We'll cover the last the ones of this top 10 in a minute. I do want to play for you right now some continuation of the Xavier Dobson testimony. Again, I want to play for you this is the testimony of Dr. Eric Nielsen. This is ZD39. This is the Associate Professor of Liberal Arts. I want to play some of his testimony. When we come back, we'll continue with the top 10.
As an
Welcome back to the Law and Crime Network, everybody. This is Jesse Weber. We are covering the top 10 craziest laws in the United States, laws that are still on the books technically, whether or not they're actually enforced or what the situation is there. We're talking about that. But these laws are still on the books, still and around, and we have to talk about them. We've covered the first half, and now we're going to cover the second half. Joining me today right now to talk all about this is Elura Nanos and Caroline Polisi. Ladies?
Maybe they will no longer be on the books come
After they
2018.
say-
Exactly. After we just lambast them.
Yes,
for-
I mean
Because-
that is the role we play here at Law and
Right.
Crime.
There are people who can just write articles about it.
Right.
But we discuss it.
That's
in
right.
We get into
in
it.
real time.
We're
get into-
talking about sniffing glue.
Right.
Right.
We're talking about butter.
Real
We're
butter.
talking about zombie hunting. You know, we're talking about pinball machines.
These are real issues.
These
that
are serious.
deserve to be.
Send Caroline
talked
and I
about.
to Congress. We
They
will
do.
get this
They
stuff
do.
done.
You know, on that note, let's talk about Bigfoot, guys. Let's talk about Sasquatch, because there is a law. This is number 4 out of Washington. There's a series of laws aimed to protect and preserve not only Bigfoot, but the area in which he resides. So let me just tell you a little bit more about this. So Bigfoot
You know we
law.
had that kind of pull, did you?
Say what?
A Bigfoot ordinance came about back in the day that decreed that the willful, wanton killing of such a creature shall be deemed a felony. And this was back in the day. It was amended in 1984. It changed the crime from a felony to a gross misdemeanor that was punishable by a $1,000 fine. But the amendment also stated that if a coroner concludes that you actually have killed Bigfoot, and it turns out that he turns out to be a humanoid, that can be homicide. And today there is a law in
Obviously.
Washington called the Undiscovered Species Protection Act, which again protects that area.
Okay.
And it says that if it resolved that any premeditated, willful, or wanton slaying or harassing or any malicious activities upon Bigfoot shall be deemed a felony, punishable by a fine not to exceed $100,000 and imprisonment not to exceed
intense.
10 years.
Hold
Intense.
on. But you're talking about Bigfoot as though we all know what that is.
Well, let me
As
explain.
though
I,
that's like
I'm not like well read on my Bigfoot.
Sure.
So here's the question that I have: is there like one Bigfoot, or is it like a species of
right?
Bigfoot?
Is this like the
Bigfoot?
Loch Ness monster type thing?
Great question.
Okay.
When I hang out with Bigfoot,
Yeah.
Loch Ness,
Nessie.
Dracula,
The Jersey Devil. You're a
Right.
You're a Northeasterner.
exactly.
So.
We do our Thursday
And the Tooth
meetings.
Fairy.
Yeah.
No, the truth is, the reason they have this is because they, back in the day, back in the 60s, this actually first came about in 69, the idea was that there were these myths that there was Bigfoot. And everybody started coming there with guns and started trying to hunt Bigfoot. In order to combat this prevalence of people with guns coming to the area, they
They
had
were
to
like,
put
listen,
some-
you can't even kill Bigfoot anyway. It's a crime.
But let me
But
ask
they
you a
should
question.
make it a crime to hunt for Bigfoot then.
That's basically what
Right?
this is
Why
kind
would
of
they want to
flavored.
kill him? Is Bigfoot bad?
Yeah.
I guess
think
it's
so.
like that trophy. Like it's like you see these crazy animal hunters
Right.
and shooting
They're like,
lions
there's
in
a
Africa.
fantastic animal. Let's kill it.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
oh, okay.
Wouldn't you want to have a conversation with him?
Yeah.
I have so many questions.
Wait, does he speak Bigfoot? I don't even understand how Bigfoot works.
I don't either.
texts.
I don't know.
Huge texter.
That guy
Really big.
will never pick up the phone.
His hashtags
I
are
know, I know,
fantastic.
I know.
let me
So
tell
you had a question. What was the question?
I forgot my question. My question
sorry.
is, first of all, do you think he exists? Or do you think some sort of creature exists?
I don't care at all.
You don't care at all.
It's the Christmas. The Christmas season is upon us, Jesse. And
Wait,
so
is it Christmas Bigfoot?
No, but I mean, so I'm saying, you have to sort of believe in magic. So I mean, you have
Is
to
Bigfoot
believe
magic?
a little.
Like,
Yes.
I don't.
Bigfoot's
Here's
magic.
the thing.
Yeah.
I
Loch
don't
Ness
even. I
monster.
never understand these guys. Like it's like this hybrid, like like the Tooth
People have seen
Fairy,
it.
like the Easter Bunny. Like I get it, magic. They have powers. They do
Right.
stuff for you. Bigfoot is it? It's just like an animal, and we don't know what it is.
Well, I think it's lore, right? It's
Does
like
it
somebody
do
had an
anything?
encounter with a huge bear. I think that's how it
I
got
just
started,
never
right?
understand this.
People were sniffing glue.
Right, exactly.
They didn't know what they
But
were
this,
seeing.
This ties in with the hunting in the
hunting
in
in
the
the
cemetery.
Yeah.
What if you hunt
Because
Bigfoot in
what
the-
if Bigfoot's there?
But there's nothing wrong with keeping that area a Bigfoot sanctuary and preventing people with
Go ahead.
guns
There's
coming
nothing
all
wrong with
over.
Can we stop people from killing anything
Right,
bigger than,
agreed.
say, a bug?
Agree.
Yeah.
I'm
would
right
be
there
good.
with you.
By the way, what makes them think they're successful? You think they're going to win in a fight with this guy? I don't think so.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's a little arrogant.
Yeah,
A duel.
right?
What are they
a duel
bringing?
with Bigfoot, maybe. That would be a good one. A duel.
See this? We're combining the
Yes,
laws.
exactly.
Whether it's a
Yeah.
good thing or a bad
We
thing, I
could
don't
create
know.
one big law that just runs the gamut of all of these
And this is
prohibitions.
Washington State, right?
Yes.
Like, if we're being totally honest, like that whole part of the country up there, like I don't really know what's happening up there.
Ooh.
Like, they can have-
Don't talk bad about our
Yeah,
followers,
you are.
that-
You are.
our
I'm not
viewers.
saying
That
anything
Alienating
bad
our
about it.
viewers.
I'm just saying, like,
It's not
I
your
just.
thing.
It's not that it's not my thing. I just don't know what's happening. It's like so far away that I'm sure it's great, but I don't know what's happening.
Bigfoot 2929 just wrote on our message board, "Stop talking about me."
He's very
with
upset.
this peace sign. Weird how that happens.
That is so weird.
Strange.
He texted Jesse earlier. Yeah.
Great hashtags. All right, let's move now on to Louisiana. Okay, Louisiana.
Hang on, let me get out my
I know.
my Creole.
These are all.
You ready for this one?
I'm ready. I got my
know, I
beads
don't
on.
know.
It's illegal to send a surprise pizza.
Oh, that's not fun. That's not
But
fair.
it's totally legal to walk around, like, what is it, Bourbon Street and half
But
dressed.
what
Like,
constitutes a surprise pizza?
I'll read you the statute.
I would love a surprise pizza.
It is unlawful for any person to intentionally place an order for any goods or services to be supplied or delivered to another person. And then it says basically when the person who received it hadn't authorized the order.
But that's a good law. That's
Because-
a good law because people, this is like it's like an
No.
it's an anti-prank law. So
Yes,
if
you're
you
right,
talk,
you're right.
because
Okay,
who
fine.
gets screwed in that situation, right? The pizza show this, and it's it's not a pizza. It's like 100 pizzas, right? And you open it up, and you open up your door, and there's the poor pizza delivery guy, and he's like, I have 100 pizzas, and you're like, I didn't order anything, and then it's this like weird interaction.
Did you ever do
So
that? Have
I
you
did.
done that?
And then what? No.
Have you done that? It sounds like you sound pretty. You're like
And then
pretty
what
familiar. You're
happened?
like, of course it's not one. You're like, it's like
Like, I've done this
95
multiple
pizzas.
times.
But
like,
then
it
who
sounds like
like
you've done
who
this
bears the effect of that?
because they have to pay for it.
The pizzeria either has to like eat it, or the person who keeps the pizzas has to pay, and it's like not good.
But I was thinking more in the context of like, if your friend gets sick or something and you want to send them a nice dinner, you want to send them a couple
but then you
Domino's
paid
pizzas.
for it. But then
Yeah,
you paid
for it. You
I
paid
think
for
in
it.
today's day and age you can pay for it in advance, but how about if you just order it and
Fine.
then they have
And
to
then
pay for it
don't
at the
pay
door?
for
No,
it.
of
Yeah.
course.
I'll pay because they
of
could
course.
call and say, hey, I'll order pizza, and then they tell you how much the price
But that's
is, and
breaking
then
a
you pay.
different law. That's like forgery, or so you're impersonating somebody
I
else.
bet you that's what it was for, though.
Pizza comes to your door, you didn't order it,
I'm taking that pizza.
You're going to pay for
I'm
it?
taking
It
that
depends.
pizza.
If I eat it, then it's unjust enrichment if I don't pay for it.
I
good
likely
point.
would
But
take
if I
it and
send
eat
it back because there was no implied contract, then it's the pizzeria's fault. It depends. Were they negligent about what door they came to? Did they check? Like,
This
what's
is the problem
system?
of delivering a pizza to an attorney.
Seriously.
Yeah.
This is the problem.
I'm like, wait a minute. Like, what do you have right? Let me
I
see
would
that little
always
thing
take a
with the sign.
pizza.
Yeah.
Ordered or not ordered by
I would
me.
probably just take
I
the
would
pizza.
pay for it, and then I would.
Although,
eat
what
it.
state is this in? Louisiana
This is
pizza?
Louisiana. What's going on there? That people
Yeah,
are delivering stuff to
no,
other people's houses.
The
It's
pizza.
crazy over there. They have the
It doesn't have a-
Napoleonic code. Like, who the hell knows what's happening? Are they going to deliver me some beignets? Those I will not
Those-
refuse.
me
Those are-
neither.
Some chicory
Well-
coffee and
Those are so
beignets.
good.
Bring it over.
I know.
I should tell you, in anticipation of this, I'm not kidding you.
Is there a pizza coming?
I actually ordered a pizza
did
to
not.
the office.
I'll pay for it.
It's a surprise. I know
I
I'm
love
technically
pizza.
ready.
I don't know if I'll pay for it, but I'll definitely
Is it
eat
coming?
Just kidding.
Okay.
But wouldn't it have been great if that was the case?
I think
I
that's
don't
good.
break the law in
I know,
Louisiana.
okay.
Clearly, you didn't ask for it, so
No,
I didn't
I
order
wouldn't.
it.
I mean, we're in New York. It's totally fine.
Totally fine. Totally
Obviously.
legit.
As a matter of fact, if you have any beignets, bring those.
Yes.
Okay, speaking of food, are you guys hungry?
Obviously.
Yes.
Okay, because we're going to move on to West Virginia. And in West Virginia, it is legal to take roadkill home, and many people take it home to eat.
No.
That's weird.
No.
It says wildlife, this is the statute, wildlife, except protected birds, elk, spotted fawn, and bear cubs, not bears, bear cubs, killed or mortally wounded as a result of being accidentally or inadvertently struck by a motor vehicle may be lawfully possessed. Now, why is this a big deal? Because we found out in West Virginia, there are roadkill cooking competitions.
Stop it.
Wow, really?
Oh, I'm
this
concerned
is doing
We're
no
talking-
favors for West Virginia
No.
for stereotypes. This is not
No,
helping
this
out
isn't good.
those
You don't feel good about
Appalachia
this.
I don't feel
stereotypes,
good
no.
about the need for this law. I don't
Really?
feel good about roadkill in general.
You want but then again, roadkill just be left on the road.
No. I'm not saying the law should be struck down. I'm just saying I'm like really kind of sickened that there was a need for the law. But obviously there was. I mean, if people
it's an
are
interesting
cooking
law.
it-
Just to clarify, the law. It's a law that states that you can do something. I mean, I've never heard of
yeah,
that.
you can-
It's
you-
not a prohibition on doing something.
It can be lawfully possessed, meaning you can take it. There's a couple of ways that you have
But
to
you
go
can't
through.
eat it.
Oh, you can eat it.
Oh, you can
100%.
eat it.
There's a roadkill competition. They eat, you ready for this?
That is so
They have a
vile.
roadkill cooking contest where they eat black bear, possums, reptiles, which brings me to my
These are
next
some
question.
brave people.
In anticipation of this, believe
What?
it or not, we live in, where do we live? New York City? You can pretty much
Yes.
find anything.
Yeah.
Freeze-dried
Stop.
iguana.
No,
No!
no. I won't. I won't do it. I won't do
Oh,
it.
no?
It looks like granola. It looks like granola.
Let me see
I think
this.
it's granola. I
Let-
think you're lying
let's
to
see
us
this.
again. Fool me once, Jesse Weber.
Delicious.
Fool me once.
Delicious.
It's granola.
No, it's not. It's iguana. It's delicious.
Is it from roadkill? Iguana?
Well, I found this guy, totally backdoor.
Stop.
Totally legit.
Don't
No,
say
this is
backdoor
delicious.
iguana.
This
It's
is
good.
good.
No, it's really good.
Good.
It's good iguana, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's delicious.
Did you kill it though with your car? It's a question.
Here's the thing, though. You know,
Do people believe this is actually
No,
iguana?
it's totally not
Okay.
iguana.
good.
But
I tried.
Good.
But it's a
it-
really good granola
it's
bar.
really
right?
good granola.
It's I know exactly what kind of granola it is.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
kids love it.
It's got a little sprinkle of roadkill.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: you have to imagine that if people are like scooping up dead possums off the road and bringing them home and like making a stew out of it, you know, at some point there's going to be some kind of a lawsuit for something like automotive related. You
You
know,
think people are trying to do it in purpose? Like this
Wait, what do
becomes a
you mean
form of hunting?
No.
Because it is
but I'm-
inadvertent.
What I'm saying is that you know that like at some point someone's going to get sick from eating roadkill because half the guy's bumper was left in the thing's
Of course.
face or
Right.
whatever
There's
it
some
was.
sort
Like,
of
someone's going to get
bacteria.
hurt. Someone's
Yes.
gonna
But who are
get-
they going to sue?
They're going to sue somebody, and because
who
it was
are they gonna
road,
sue?
I don't know.
There's
There's
the
nobody
city-
regulating this.
the-
If you
the
want to
ci-
eat berries off the ground, you
Like,
can
at
do it.
your own
who's-
risk.
How is this even a thing? Like, could you imagine this day in the state legislature? Like, all right, guys, we got to deal with something that's pretty important. We got to deal with what we're eating.
I guess it's like
off the-
free food. I mean, it's like free food. It's like free
Clearly,
food. on the side of the
Elura
road.
hasn't had black bear like
I
we've had
know,
black bear,
we
you know?
have.
I've had mountain lion. Does that count? But it wasn't roadkill.
No.
Wow, that's why it's interesting, this exception. You can't be protected birds, elk, spotted fawn. I like that bear cubs. You can't.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be
But
really sad.
full-fledged bears.
Yeah, but I think there is something to the idea of taking it off the road, because how sad is it when you drive by and you see a?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Isn't it really sad?
It is
But
sad.
like, I wonder if this is like the highway authority in that area being like, well, we'll just leave it because
Maybe to
there's all
help.
those roadkill aficionados out there that are going to go do like some kind of weird version of West Virginia Chopped.
But what does
What's
it
in my
does,
basket?
It does beg the question whether or not people are going to start and hunting with their vehicles. But as you noted, Jesse, it's an inadvertent, right? So
Yeah.
that would prohibit.
It's inadvertent.
This
but,
is gross.
But I love that they have a competition. I love that it's in West Virginia, and this is something that they do. It's very interesting. It's personally not something I would want. I'd rather eat the granola, but
Yeah.
Right. You and me.
I'm a city girl. I don't know that I can eat roadkill.
But it would be interesting if they had it here in the city. We'll see. All right. So now, this brings us to number 1. Are you ready?
Oh, is it
excited.
we're already at
We're
number
don't-
1
don't-
already?
We're already at number 1. Don't say it yet.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just sad that we're at the end of our list.
So here we go. This is the number 1 crazy law in the United States. You might be wondering, why is there a porcupine? In Florida, it's illegal to have sexual relations with a porcupine. Now, I want to say this to the camera and all of our viewers, and everybody who might be considering this. You don't have to answer to yourself. You don't have to answer to the legislatures. If you're considering this, there's only one person that you need to answer to. Look into this face. This is the face of justice right here, okay? You need to answer to him, all right? Ladies, I don't even know where to begin with this one.
What this?
I am
so cute.
You can hold him as we
Can
talk.
we hold him? This is a nice soft porcupine.
Yeah, it's
I am
my nephew's, so-
vehemently against this law.
Okay.
You're against it?
I am, because here's why. I would love to believe that this is a pro-animal, an animal protection
That's
law.
what I think.
But it's not, because if it were, then it wouldn't be just about porcupines. It would be like, stop touching any animal, right? So it's not about porcupines.
Well, maybe we don't know. Maybe there's one for every other
Stop.
animal.
No,
We
I
don't know.
guarantee that what happened is that somebody screwed a porcupine, got hurt, and then people were like, oh, we better prohibit that because then more people will do it, right? So what it's doing, this is like victim blaming at its very worst, right?
I don't
like,
know. I don't.
Seriously?
Well,
What?
the problem is
Yes.
that there were actually 2 tourists who relatively recently, they're from Russia, who decided to test this law out.
Obviously.
Oh, that's
It
just
didn't
not
end
safe.
so well for them, as you can imagine.
Shocker.
They got very injured from doing this. They tried to test the depths of this law out. What was going on in Florida when this law was first came about? What were people up to? I don't get it. How does this happen?
Well, there are sort of
And I
generalized.
love that you're holding the porcupine as we talk
I mean,
about
it's just
this.
because I think of it as an animal cruelty
I just
law.
don't believe
protecting-
that it is. And because here's my issue. Of all of the animals, porcupines are uniquely in a position to be able to defend themselves.
Correct.
Right?
Agreed.
So one would imagine that if there were animals out there that really needed this kind of protection, porcupines would be kind of low on that list, which makes me believe that it's more about protecting the idiots that are trying to have sex with the porcupines. And I feel like, screw them, don't protect them. If they're out there trying to have sex with a porcupine,
How many people are
assumption
trying to
of
do
risk.
this? But are there any stats on enforcement of this law or why it was
How on
enacted?
earth would
this
they
way.
enforce? They're going to catch
Yeah.
these people in the act with the porcupine?
Well,
or
in
the
the hospital.
porcupine?
Maybe they would
There's
be in
like
the
a rash
hospital.
of Me Too porcupine.
Wouldn't they have to go to the
stories?
hospital, right? I mean, I would assume.
I would love for the person who's actually has to compile these statistics to
Right,
do this.
right.
You know, believe it or not, this is there was a would-be candidate in Florida. There you go. He's in a great. He's my
really
nephew.
cute. Oh,
He's
he's
fantastic.
really cute, really
Bobby Bean, the would-be U.S. senator from Florida, actually tried to legalize this.
Wow.
Because
that
he
was a platform?
said that he wanted to get rid of all archaic laws that were on the books. Like, why do we even have this?
Right, I'm
We
not
have
sure
it
I
for
would
these
use
2
this as an
Russians that tried to do
example.
this.
Clear out. Were they prosecuted for the crime?
I think they suffered enough punishment.
Okay.
I
fine,
think
fair
I
enough.
would love, I'm a former prosecutor, I would love to have
To
a
have
case.
a trial for that.
Because I'll tell you, you find me somebody who wants to have sex with a porcupine, and I will tell you, tip of the iceberg, you know that person's crazy.
Yes. Well, obviously, yes.
I
yeah.
mean, get these people
I just,
away.
I just don't see it actually, happening. Like, do you know what I'm saying? I don't
Yeah.
see
I
it
know what
actually.
you're saying, but
I
obviously
don't
it
see how
happens.
you could actually do that. That's fine. I don't really
Men
want to
will
think
find
that
a
hard
way.
about it.
Men
But I
will
don't
find a
wanna
way.
think that
Thank
hard
you
about
for
it,
putting that
yeah,
image in my
but
mind.
so it just seems crazy.
I feel like-
I think there's more to this story. Is what I'm saying. I think
Yeah.
there must be more to this
There's a
story.
part of me that feels like, go ahead and legalize sex with all kinds of porcupines, because that's going to be a nice, easy way to just get rid of a cross-section of society that we just don't need
Seriously.
around. That's like Darwinism
I think you
at
could
its
die.
best.
I
doing
don't
that.
think people that would do this really would care about the law. I think they're just going to do it, whatever they have.
True. People who are into porcupines, they're not going to be
just-
be
right.
detracted.
And recidivism.
I'm just protecting him.
I
a
know.
wise
I'm
person
just
once said to
protecting
me,
him.
"If it exists, there's porn about it."
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Wow.
I feel like, and there's probably
Jesse?
So in the end of the day,
Jesse?
we approve of this law.
I approve.
Answer
I'm
to him.
pro. I'm pro.
I'm against the porcupine
Oh,
law.
Okay.
he's so cute.
All right.
Caveat
He's so
emptor.
cute. He's so cute.
Well, ladies, we learned a lot today.
We did.
What we learned,
yeah.
I don't know.
No.
But we learned a lot.
We learned about butter.
We learned about butter.
our
We learned
glue.
about glue. We learned about dueling. We learned about porcupines.
Bigfoot.
You know,
Bigfoot.
We
I learned about
laughed, we
Bigfoot.
cried.
We did. We learned a lot about each
were
other.
hurt.
We
And I
did.
think we got through it pretty well.
A lot
I
about
do.
each
I mean,
other.
except for some.
2018. I wonder what new crazy laws will crop up on the books in 2018.
We'll have to
do
see.
this
Maybe
segment
we'll do
again
another
next year.
segment.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, we'll probably do an article on our website about this on lawandcrime.com, but we definitely learned a lot. So, ladies, Elura Nanos, Caroline Polisi, thank you so much for joining me on this special segment of the Top 10 Crazy Laws.
Thanks, Jess.
Thanks, Jess.